Welcome to Dr. K's lecturecast in anatomy, the continuation of the temporomandibular joint. So this is the temporomandibular joint part 2, where we are going to discuss about the movements of the TMJ, the clinical anatomy, and then OSPE or practical based questions. Movements of temporomandibular joint. Mostly the movements occur simultaneously at both the joints, that is the right and left temporomandibular joints. Movements are divided into those happening in the meniscotemporal. In TMJ part 1, I had told the articular disc separates the joint compartment as two meniscotemporal and meniscomandibular compartments. These are the movements occurring at the temporomandibular joint: depression, which is nothing but opening the mouth; elevation, closing the mouth; protrusion or protraction of the chin; and retrusion or retraction of the chin; and side to side movements, which we call as chewing. So these movements are very important for us. Let's see how does the mechanism occurs. First, the protrusion or protraction, the forward movement of the chin. What happens here is the articular disc glides forwards over the upper articular surface, that is the meniscotemporal surface, moving the head of the mandible along with it. See, this is the elevated and retruded chin. Protraction, see, can you see here? The articular disc, this is the articular tubercle. It moves along, taking the mandibular head forward. What happens in slight opening of the mouth and wide opening of the mouth, we'll see in depression movements. What happens in retraction is the articular disc moves backwards over the upper articular surface, moving the mandible along with it. Protrusion moves forwards along with the head of the mandible. Retraction or retrusion of the chin, just the opposite action happens. What is the axis? The axis occurs along the horizontal axis from right to left condyle. Right condyle to the left condyle, a horizontal axis perpendicular to the horizontal axis, the movement occurs. So now I have mentioned here what are all the muscles. Protrusion, lateral pterygoid assisted by medial pterygoid and also by the superficial fibers of the masseter, and retraction, posterior fibers of temporalis. Note this point, when they pin the muscle temporalis, they will ask what is the function. You can just write powerful retractors of the TMJ or powerful retractors. The posterior fibers are powerful retractors of temporomandibular joint. Then assisted by the masseter, geniohyoid and digastric muscle. Opening of the mouth, depression. Slight opening and wide opening. What happens during slight opening is the head of the mandible moves under the disc like a hinge. Can you see? It moves under the disc like a hinge. Axis here is vertical axis. Please remember, depression or opening the mouth is going downwards. The axis is vertical axis, so the line of action should be perpendicular to the vertical axis. Movements of the temporomandibular joint. Next is the wide opening. What happens is the hinge-like movement is followed by the gliding of the articular disc and the mandibular head as in protraction. So in wide opening, both depression and protraction occurs, where the head of the mandible comes into contact with the articular tubercle. Can you see the articular tubercle here? It protrudes. The head of the mandible protrudes and goes down. So protrusion or protraction and depression occurs when the mouth is widely open. Reversive movements occur during the closing or elevation of the mandible, where where the mandible go back and elevates. Can you understand? Wide opening leads to protrusion and depression, whereas closing of the mouth goes back, that is reversive action, retrusion and elevation. So these are the muscles named here. Depression mainly by the lateral pterygoid assisted by the digastric, geniohyoid and mylohyoid. Elevation is by the remaining muscles temporalis, masseter and medial pterygoid. Now coming to chewing or side to side movements. Just remember one thing. When in chewing movements, one side protrudes, the other side rotates. Can you see here? This protrudes, the opposite side rotates. So if the, can you see here? The chin moved laterally to the right, means that the mandible is protracted to the left, retracted and pivoted on the right. So one side moves forwards, moves the chin to the opposite side, and the opposite side of the head of the mandible rotates. Same way, opposite action occurs. This side, that is, mandible is protracted to the right and then retracted and pivoted. Rotatory movements occurs here. So one side is the hinge movement, the other side is the hinge, so I should say gliding movement, and the other side is a rotatory movement. So when they occur simultaneously, the chewing movement occurs. One side, say right side of the mandibular head, glides forwards along with the articular disc as in protrusion. The other side mandibular head merely rotates on a vertical axis. Can you see? Vertical axis. This moves the chin forwards and to the left side. Alternate movements results in chewing movement of the mouth, and movement of the mandible occurs running through an imaginary mid-sagittal plane. You know what is sagittal plane? Which divides any part of the human body into equal right and left half. So imaginary sagittal plane. What are the muscles involved? Lateral and medial pterygoid of one side, assisted by temporalis and masseter muscle of the opposite side. Chewing on the right side involves left lateral and medial pterygoid, right temporalis and masseter. I have summed up the movements produced and muscles acting on the joint. For a quick reference, you can pause here, take a look at the tabular column so that it will be important for you to answer a question where they ask what are the movements of the TMJ and what are the muscles involved. You can tabulate it to make the presentation look in a much better way. Coming to the clinical anatomy of temporomandibular joint. First one is the dislocation, that is excessive opening of the mouth during yawning leads to the slipping of the head of the mandible anteriorly into the infratemporal fossa. So from the mandibular fossa, the mandible, head of the mandible slips and comes to the infratemporal fossa. Management of this is called as reduction of the joint by depressing the jaw. We saw in depression, wide opening, we saw the mandible protrudes and depress. So when you have to reduce the jaw and fix the dislocation, you have to move the mandible backward and upward, retrusion and elevation, by placing the fingers over the last molar teeth, same time elevating the chin. Overclosure or malocclusion can result in the derangement of the fibers of the articular disc. This condition gives rise to clicking and pain during jaw movements. And whenever the joint has some surgical procedures to be done, or when it is during surgical procedures involving the joint, the nerves related here are mainly the auriculotemporal and facial nerves, so they should be preserved with care. Arthritis. Any term related to arthro means it relates to the bone. Itis is inflammation. So why an inflammation here? Degenerative arthritis can lead to inflammation of the joint. Example, abnormal function of the temporomandibular joint may result in structural problems. We saw earlier. We saw related to the articular disc, derangement, malocclusion leads to arthritis. One of the reasons, such as dental occlusion and joint clicking, the term is called as crepitus. The malfunctioning of the articular disc delays the elevation and depression, which leads to crepitus. That is, the movements of the TMJ does not occur as fast as it has to be. It gets delayed, and that leads to the clicking sound or the crepitus. Temporomandibular joint ankylosis, very important for oral surgeons. It is a pathological condition where the mandible is fused to the mandibular fossa by bony or fibrotic tissues. This interferes with mastication. speech, oral hygiene, and also some normal life activities. And sometimes it can be life threatening when struggling to acquire an airway in an emergency, because they have to open the mouth during such emergencies. The factors can be causing this ankylosis can be trauma, infection, previous surgical procedures involving TMJ without a proper healing, arthritis, iatrogenic causes, and congenital deformities. Sometimes they say forceps delivery can also injure the temporomandibular joint compartment in a newborn. Most commonly, this ankylosis is said to be caused by trauma followed by severe infection. Coming to the practicals and OSPE based questions, in the skull or in an individual temporal bone, they might shade the mandibular fossa, and the questions can be what is the joint formed at this region, what is the type of joint. There will be always a sub question B. It can be type of the joint, or what are the ligaments attached to the articular tubercle, and name the ligaments of the joint. Sometimes the movements can also be asked. What are the movements produced at this joint? Can also be asked as a sub question. Kindly take this presentation as a quick reference of specific topics and do not take this material to as a guide for any treatments or clinical interventions. If you like this presentation, kindly share, like, and subscribe, and also share with your other friends. See you in another lecture class. Thank you.